Hey, how's it going? My name is Julian. You probably have no idea who I am. I run a business called Empire Growth Consultancy, and we help brick and mortar businesses set up advertising systems that are profitable and actually lead all the way to conversions. So we're really big on systems and implementing those. So naturally, we have it pretty well documented here on the screen, and this is what I want to be showing with you today. But very quick, this system that I'm going to be walking you through, it's generated results for a ton of businesses. Crunch Fitness, 5.2 million in a 10-month period. This was when they just opened their stores in Michigan. It was first market. No one's ever heard of the brand. The hardest portion for any brand, of course. This was a liposuction place out in California. On the flip side, very small experimental budget, but it was monumentally successful. Over 2,000 inquiries over the last year here. And this is all just to demonstrate that, you know, we've worked with a ton of brands. We're getting results, and the system is battle tested. It's proven, and the reason why it works is very simple. It solves the problems that majority of businesses and advertisers even have not solved. There's a sustainability problem in the way that people are trying to promote brick and mortar businesses on digital advertising. And what they do is they just, marketers in particular, they just focus on this little piece up here on the top of my screen where they're just serving direct response ads, which is basically saying, hey, buy my stuff. And you can do that particularly in e-commerce just because your audiences are typically millions and millions and millions of people. And just as fast as new people get in where they're interested in purchasing something, they're out, right? There's a good overturn in the audience to keep it fresh. When you're a local brick and mortar business, that's just not the case. You have the pool of people around you, and that does not rapidly change. And if you were to go into neighborhoods, knock on people's door and just say, hey, buy my stuff, hey, buy my stuff, hey, buy my stuff, you know, by the second, third, fourth time you do that, you go to the supermarket, everybody's going to be pissed when they see you, right? You can't do that. It's just not sustainable. So as a result, when we were working with these brick and mortar businesses, we realized that, you know, there was a problem. When we were spending money, we were getting leads, and we were making, you know, more sales, and the business was growing. The client would come to us and say, hey, let's put fuel on this fire. Let's put another $5,000 into it. And then we realized that, you know, we put another $5,000, and then lead costs doubled. And the ROI got smaller. And there was an issue there that we had to solve if we were to scale businesses to really dominate their local market. And this is how we came up with the MIR method. The MIR method is named this because it's a process that allows us to stay contextual to consumers A to Z, from the first time that they've ever encountered our brand to the point where they're literally begging for us to take their money. People need to see different stuff and have different messaging, you know, depending on where they're at and what they know. You can't go to every single person and knock on doors like in my last example and say, buy my stuff, if I've never even contemplated transacting with you. That's just not gonna feel good. There's a very low chance of conversion. But on the flip side, right, we have to be able to nurture and persuade the other 98% of the market that stands to convert. They just haven't gotten to that decision yet. We need to show them why they should come in and transact with us in particular. And that's what this does. So this first portion at the very top, and I'm just going to scroll down here to actually go over it. This first portion, you know, we'll put out those offers where we're going to get in those leads. And we are going to tap into that 1-2%. But it's this piece that comes next where we're hitting people with repeated pieces of content that gives you a tactical advantage over every single person in the market. And let me explain why. If we go into the insides of these social media advertising platforms, and this is something relatively new, so you may not know this, but very recently, social interactions became retargetable on virtually every single social media platform. Now, Facebook and Instagram were the first people to do this, and I'm going to just demonstrate this for you here. If you're in the audience sections, you have all these different things that you can use to create an audience, but this is particularly what I'm referencing. If I go to videos, I can actually select people who've watched 95% or whatever degree I want, and I can select these pieces of content. So if I was, let's just say, let's pick these guys here. So I can take 95% of those people, put them into an audience so I can get back in front of them again. Now, why does this matter? Old marketing logic. You go get your emails, you hit people with emails, eventually they buy, right? So let's just do the math on that. Let's break down the arithmetic. If I'm spending $5 to get an email, and open rates are 20% today, so what is my actual lead cost? It's not 5, right? Like a lead who doesn't get any communication from me and doesn't talk to me has a 0% chance of converting. But so I'm actually spending $25 to get a lead that has an opportunity to convert. If you start playing the rest of that cycle, right? Well, if I'm paying 25 bucks really for a lead, how many of those are actually going to book an appointment, how many of those are going to show up, how many of those are going to close, it's very easy to have acquisition costs into hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Now, if your price points support that, great, but most of the time there could be a huge improvement, because what we spend to get somebody to watch a video is oftentimes less than a penny, if not a penny. So for 1 cent, I can go out and I can get somebody into my list, so to speak, and I can have a 100% success rate in getting content in front of them again where they are going to see it and consume it. So again, the biggest difference is here is it's not just more affordable, but I don't have to compete with a whole lot here. Like if you're in my list, you're going to see my next video. You can't really opt out of it. You can't put me in spam. Even today with like browsers, there's retargeting, like there's ad blockers. You can't even retarget a lot of traffic that goes to your website today. But if you're on social media and you interact with a post or a piece of content of mine, you are in the list, and I can get back in front of you again and again and again as many times as I want for a fraction of the cost. Literally, your budget is going to go 2,500 times farther if you do your quote-unquote list building this way rather than the old school method. This is the tactical advantage. And this leads into the rest of the conversion process. We have a system in place to help nurture those people after they become a lead, but maybe they have some questions, they have some oppositions why they wouldn't come in and book. We have content in place to further persuade them to get them into your calendar. But we also have the hard call to action stuff, text messages, voicemails, emails, and a fully automated system to protect your time and guarantee the quality of outreach to get those people into your calendar. And even after the fact, the profit amplification steps. What happens when somebody buys? How do we get those referrals? How do we get the second and third and fourth money after they've given us the first? All this is here in this system, and it follows that principle, A to Z. How can we stay contextual from the first touch to the last touch and persuade people when they need to be, but make sure we're asking for the sale when they're ready? That's what this accomplishes. So all of that being said, I'm happy to send this to you. Most of the time when people are looking to transact with us, there's two ways that we build a relationship. One is you bring us in to do the work for you. Now, that's typically a flat fee plus some portion of a revenue share if you're open to that. And the second thing is usually is going to be a consulting thing. Now, with the consulting package, this is very common. It's getting more and more common as of late because we do our homework on who sees these videos. We know that you're taking action and you see the value to social media. So it's very likely that you have a team, or maybe even the team is watching this. And this is why we offer the consulting package, where we come in, we actually help build out the system for you, and we do the knowledge and skill transfer required so that your in-house team can continue it and execute this method profitably. So that being said, I would love to get in touch with you and see what is the best fit for you at this point in time. You have our email, obviously, and my phone number is below. So please reach out, and look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.